Hey everyone, welcome back to the Quacking Pancakes Podcast, filmed here in Kornwall Studios in beautiful Atlanta, Georgia. I'm Kory Hong.
And I'm Evan Mulvaney. For this episode, we're continuing our Artists in Depth series, where we interview independent artists who we'd like to highlight on our platform. Today's guest is an old friend and former roommate of ours, Benji Holmes.
We lived with Benji our freshman year at Georgia Southern, and it was easily one of the best roommate experiences we've ever had. He was very tidy, clean, and overall just a great person to be around, especially for our first year away from home.
It's our best episode yet, and you're not going to want to miss it. So without further ado,
let's get into it. Hey dude, welcome to the show. We're so excited to finally have you on. Just how are you doing right now?
What's up, y'all? Happy to be a part of it. I'm doing fantastic. Just finished my degree in May, kind of just living that post-grad life, absorbing everything I can, I've taken up boxing recently. Actually, if you can tell, I don't know if you can see, I kind of have a black eye right now.
You get doinked right in the face?
I got doinked in the face, man. Yeah, my trainer, dude. I missed one of my combos and I didn't weave. Dude came in with this right hook, tapped me. It looks kind of cool though.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, you could say you're like in a fight or something. Just beat the shit out of him. Nah, I'm just kidding.
Exactly. You should be like, look, I've already been. I guess the black eye would constitute like something not good in the fight, but I don't know.
I've always wanted to try boxing because I hear like all the like A-list celebrities, that's their form of like cardio, and like that's how they like you're bulky, but it's not necessarily like you're big or anything. It's like you're kind of shredded and you're doing tons of cardio. You're getting kind of like the martial arts thing going. Is it really like how it is in like Rocky? I guess you show up to the gym, you jump rope a little bit, and then you do some sparring, or how's that go?
I mean, pretty much so far. Like I meet my trainer twice a week, and like I'll do some jump rope and some like hardcore cardio and stuff, and yeah, and then I'll jump in and we'll just like work the bags a little bit. But it's like great. Like I hate but like pushing myself for like high intensity workouts and like cardio is just like not something I can do easy. So I gotta go somewhere and like do it. And also boxing is so cool. Like I love Canelo Alvarez, dude. Like I guess my favorite boxer. Like, so nice with it. I'm trying to get like that, man. So yeah, it's been a cool experience so far. But yeah.
Are you good at the speed bags?
Not yet. I gotta work on it. I'm working on that right now. I gotta get.
I've always wanted to do good. Yeah, that would be really cool for sure.
One day it's loading. I'll send y'all once I get it down. I'm gonna send y'all a video of it. It's gonna be good.
For sure. For sure.
Is that your boy in the back?
Yeah, how's Draco doing?
Draco, he's doing good. He saw me poop from the walk. But yeah, just chilling on the floor.
How old's he now?
He is 3 now.
3.
Awesome.
He's going to be 4 in March.
I still remember the pictures you'd post on Snapchat when he was just like tiny, like just little baby boy.
Yeah, I miss those days. Now he's just a 35-year-old menace now. Love him to death.
So where are you based out of right now?
I'm in Athens.
Okay.
Right. Still in Athens.
Home team. Nice. Yeah, hold it down, dude.
Yeah, dude. You got any plans, I guess, this holiday season or anything like that?
Just, play some music. I'm playing a show next week with an artist called Convict Julie out of Athens. We're playing at Southern Period. Going to be opening for Sustos. That's going to be fun. Practicing, rehearsing. I've been trying to beat my 5K time, so that's in the works right now.
What time you got right now?
Oh my God, it's 31 right now. I'm trying to get it down to like 28 if I can. It's going to take a little bit. But like,
yeah,
awesome.
I also run with him, so it kind of slows me down a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm trying to beat that time right now. It's not that great, but.
Did you do it one over Thanksgiving?
No, dude, because I tweaked my knee like 3 days beforehand. So I did 5K, but I had the wrong shoes on. And then I went to boxing like the day after, and I woke up on Thanksgiving. I really could not walk.
You're like,
so,
no. Yeah.
So I took a little break, but I'm getting back out there. My mom ordered me a pair of Brooks tennis shoes. So I'm excited for this.
Love Brooks. Very nice.
I mean, you used to do cross country. So, I mean, did you ever wear Brooks?
Brooks were like the only thing that I wore. So those will serve you well for sure.
Right.
For sure.
You recommend?
Oh yeah. Definitely recommend Brooks. Amazing shoes.
Perfect.
Yeah. Okay. So the way that this usually goes before we actually get into the interview part is We'll usually go on some news for this week. It doesn't look like there's anything huge pop culture wise, unless you know anything that has come up this week.
Besides the negative things, I can't really name anything.
Oh yeah, we got a million of those. Yeah, for sure.
I know, dude. Good Lord. I haven't been too much tuned in, but I would love to get an update from y'all. I want to hear too.
The only thing we had just as of yesterday, I'm sure you've heard, is that the MLB is on a lockout right now.
Yep, heard that. MLB's on a lockout. AB has a fake backs card. Yeah, heard about that. Oh my gosh, did y'all see the score of the Grizzlies OKC game?
It was like they beat them by like 70 or something.
70, like huge or something. Right? They scored 152 points. It was like 152, like 72 or something like that.
Yeah,
ridiculous. I woke up to that. I was like, that is embarrassing. How did that even happen?
Are you a big Hawks fan?
By default, yes. I don't watch too much basketball, but I recently started a fantasy basketball, joined a fantasy basketball league to get more into it. Mm-hmm. So I figured that's the best way to quick learn is get a fantasy team and then
definitely
get more into it. But big fantasy football guy, number one in my league right now.
Really?
Yeah.
Messed up his ankle, so we're okay. But we're still doing good. We got Eckler and then Henderson. Loser has to do the Waffle House Challenge. You guys familiar with the Waffle House Challenge?
You have to stay in there 24 hours, and is it waffle or hash browns that you eat? It takes off an hour or something like that.
Waffle.
Okay, waffle. Yeah. That's crazy.
Loser has to do that. It's gonna be my roommate Bryce. He's 3-8 right now.
How many waffles do you think he could put away? You think he's gonna be in there for 20 hours or?
Oh, he's gonna be in there 21 hours.
Very nice.
Dude, that sucks. We're thinking about doing a buddy system where you can call in, phone a friend, and then have them eat a waffle for you.
Just tap out for a round.
That maybe we do that. I don't know how many people he can call up right now, to do that for him, but poor guy, because he's just definitely gonna lose. His team is awful. He's gonna hear this, be fuck you, dude. But yeah, so bad.
I remember I was talking to you a few weeks ago about how we both have Mahomes, and that was not ideal this year, at least. Anyways, I'm surprised that you're first in your league with him though, because I have him, and then I lost all my running backs, and Calvin Ridley is sitting out now. So
it's the top 4 drafted running backs in the league are done for the season now. We're out for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, because
we got McCaffrey, Kamara.
Evan got McCaffrey in 3 different leagues.
But Kory, I got Jalen Hurts too, bro. So we got some insurance, and he's number 2 right now.
Right.
Yeah, he's been kind of a diamond in the rough. Nobody really thought that he was going to be at the top, but he's gotten a lot of points for sure.
Yeah, dude. So we're good on that. Even though literally last week Mahomes had a bye, and then Jalen Hurts was my other quarterback, and I put him in, and dude had 4 picks, scored 6 points. The 1 week he didn't put up over 18. I had him in. I still won by a hair because I played Bryce and he had DK Metcalf. He was down by 10 points. And I was if I lose to Bryce, that's so embarrassing. But he was down 10 points and just needed DK to score 12. And DK put up 2. So thank you, DCap. If you ever watch this, thanks for not getting targeted by Russell.
So after this kind of news segment is when we kind of transition into questions we might have for the week. It's going to be usually the Quacking Pancakes question of the day, which me and Evan come up with ourselves. And then sometimes we'll get fan questions in. Today is just the question of the day. And the one that I came up with is, so there are some recently discovered planets outside our solar system. All right. And they're found to be habitable. Now, Earth wants to move into this kind of realm of intergalactic colonization, and you're selected to be a part of this one-way pilgrimage to populate the new planets. So knowing that, what 3 items would you take with you knowing that you can't come back to Earth? And we can assume that there are basic necessities like food, shelter, and Wi-Fi.
Okay, I get 3 items to take.
Yes. And you can't come back to Earth. If you forget it, you can't dial someone until they're coming over or anything like that.
Oh my God. And there's food, water, and shelter.
And Wi-Fi.
There's Wi-Fi. So we're talking like devices, like my phone is one, like
Yes.
for instance. Yeah, dude. Okay, I'm bringing a guitar.
Yeah.
Does my dog count as one, or is that defaulted in there too?
That's like a family member. I think it's defaulted in there. Yeah.
Okay. He's my cargo.
I'm bringing a guitar. And this is a population that, are we talking, I don't want to get too much into semantics, but like, what's the population size right now? Or is it just like me and close family members?
You are selected randomly. So it's like randomly all across the earth. So you might be the only person selected for Athens.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, I'm bringing the guitar. I'm going to bring... Dude. I'm trying to figure out what I do. Like, okay, that. Like, I want to default to like a pocket knife, but I feel like if we have food, water, and Wi-Fi, it's going to be some type of, like a kitchen or something.
I mean, you never know. Some of the randos you might like be around could be pretty crazy.
Oh my God, dude, that adds a whole other element. Like random videos, huh? Like a self-defense tool? I don't know, but if I only have 3 things, I could double my guitar as one, or Draco as one. This is a really good spot here. Okay, guitar. What's in my room? Do Crocs? Crocs are just so versatile, dude.
I agree.
We'll count that as a working interim one right now.
Okay.
Let's see. Probably like, okay, let's say guitar, my pair of Crocs. Okay. And then we'll go 3.
It's hard. It's hard.
It's
like
tough.
I took a
This
long
is
time
a
to
hard
think about mine.
question.
Well, I wanted to save it for one of our best guests so far.
Oh my God, I'm honored. So I definitely have to show out with my answer then. Okay. How about this? Give me for reference one thing you two might bring yourselves that come to mind, because you've had more time to like think of the question. What is just one thing? Because I need,
One thing I would bring is my MacBook, because I just feel like if I have my MacBook, I don't really care if I have my phone or anything, and then I get internet, and then if I want to use like a DAW or anything else, like I feel like you can't go wrong without a computer,
Yeah, that's a really good one. Evan?
For me, I said an MP3 player. I could have gone phone, but I feel like if I'm on this new planet, I want to kind of distance myself as much as possible from like all the time I spend on my phone. So as long as I just have music to listen to, I'll be good.
Okay. So, no, that's good. That's some good information. So I said guitar, maybe this good old desktop I'm working with. And then how about my third one would be probably the Oceans trilogy, like in a pack. And that way I can like have, like, I can plug those in and watch those from my computer, and then have my guitar, and then have my computer. The Oceans trilogy movie pack is my third
favorite movie franchise.
Ooh, yeah. I mean, if I already have food and water and Wi-Fi.
I don't think I've ever seen those before. Have you?
No. I'm sorry.
I gotta put it on the list. I definitely gotta put it on the list.
Homework, boys.
Homework. We got homework to do.
Whoa. Yeah, just homework.
And
then we'll refer back and we'll follow up.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I said I'd bring my MacBook. I also put down guitar. I don't know which one. Were you thinking you'd bring an acoustic
Strat.
or
Most versatile? Strat.
Ooh, same.
I guess amp isn't included in the 3, is it?
We can assume that if you're bringing a computer, you can bring cables or anything.
Like that. All right.
Okay. Yeah, Strat's got to be the one, and then I'd bring like a camera or something. I love, especially if it's a new planet. I'd be the only one with those photos,
Like, guys, these are really good answers. Like,
it's like Spider-Man selling his photos. It's like, I got pictures of the new planet. It's like,
literally, just taking pictures of them. What are your 3, Evan?
So I had the MP3 player, and then I just had like a composition notebook and a pencil, just to like write down. I feel like I just want to write the whole time I was there.
You're going pretty much analog on the new.
Yeah. So it would be like if I guess if I included a pencil, I wouldn't have a pencil sharpener. So if that one pencil broke, I'd be kind of fucked. But whatever.
You gotta
I'd make do.
Creative ways to get that thing back.
Yep, for sure.
Kory, on the topic of Strat, Spotify Wrapped came out recently, and my most listened to song was "Who Did You Think I Was" by John Mayer. Dude, on the topic of Strats, I thought I'd just give you that little.
Your number one.
My number one most listened to song all year. Who did you think I was?
Really? It was John Mayer actually on your list though?
For what?
Top 5 artists?
Let me see. I don't think he was on my list for top 5 artists, but that was my list of top 5 songs. That was number 1.
He was number I do appreciate that. He was number 5 on mine, but like I can't even remember. I may have just been listening to like his entire discography like on a loop because I can't even tell you if I have a favorite song by him. You listened to the new album though, right?
Yeah, sure did.
What'd you think of it?
Like a 90s kind of like nostalgic feel to it.
Yeah. It was definitely different though. Not as much blues, which I think I'm fine with. I like that he's not one of those people as good as some other artists may be, that he doesn't want to stick to his roots. He wants to grow and change with like the music industry and stuff.
Yeah, dude, very versatile, dude. I mean, like, of course, you can do anything. Dude's playing like Jerry Garcia stuff right now on tour and like just puts out this album. Like, dude can mold for sure.
Are you going to go see him live when he comes to Atlanta next year?
Probably, dude. And on that topic, some dude offered me $100 for a Krungbin ticket tonight in Atlanta. And I'm just looking out the window, like, should I do it? Like, I spent so much money this weekend on like random things and Christmas items. But like Krung's here right now, and so I'm just like really debating whether I want to send it to Atlanta tonight and just go.
Not that far of a drive. You can do it.
It's not at all. Like the drive is not the issue. So I want to drop another Benji on freaking going to see them in like definitely shit. I don't know. I'm still debating it, dude.
One of the things that I always, when I come into these situations where I'm like, hey, maybe I should sell my guitar for like $300, just quick money right there. But I'm like, dude, I would probably blow through that money so fast, and I'd be like, oh, I don't have a guitar anymore.
Yeah. That is such a valid like thought process because like money comes and goes, but like if you have a thing, I always think about that when I'm buying food, and I'm like, about like you get a Chipotle like 3 times a week. You're like, that could have been a pedal right there. Like that's a pedal I could have had for I just ate. Like I have that. Like that's an intrusive thought I have all the time. So I feel you on that. Don't sell your guitar though.
No, never. That's so funny you mentioned the Chipotle thing because there are so many times this is like such a bad mindset. I'm like, dude, I wish like to survive I didn't have to eat because I could spend my money on so much other things, dude.
Right, dude? Yes. It's like the body's holding you back from doing things, dude. I feel that all the time. I get frustrated when I'm hungry because it's like, not going to take, like, I love eating, don't get me wrong, but it's like, not going to take time out of my day when I'm doing something to go eat. And that shouldn't be an issue or anything, but it's like, sometimes it's frustrating. You got to eat so often, like every day you have to eat. That's just a wild thought. Another thing I saw the other day is that everybody, like, it's another random kind of like, thing I saw and I was like, oh my God, that's interesting, is everybody on earth has their own particular life to live, their own life to live. Like when you like really think about that, it's so nuts. Like
everybody's their own main character.
Yes, everybody, like every single person ever. So.
The biggest joke I always make about that though is that I tell people all the time I don't even feel like the main character of my own show. Like I'll be watching like other people in my life have like these huge adventures or like storylines, and I'm just kind of chilling in the background, you know?
Dude, yes, I feel that same way. I'm like, I'm a very good supporting character, but like that's how I feel with my friends too.
Have you ever thought about at one point in your life you were the youngest person to ever exist on Earth? There was one point in time.
That is crazy. Nuts. That is a crazy fact, even if it's for like a millisecond.
Yeah, you were the youngest person to ever exist on Earth.
Also, as soon as you're born, you start to die.
Oh, We're getting deep
that-
here. We're getting real deep.
We're diving in. We're diving in, boys. I don't even think we finished the news segment.
It's all because I asked this crazy question about leaving Earth forever.
Yes. Oh, and also, I know we're going. Michael Strahan is going to space. You hear about that
Is he?
space crew
Really?
going to space?
Really?
No.
That's great.
Yeah.
How do you even get involved in that? Like, what? How does that?
I'm pretty sure it's Jeff Bezos' rocket. You can fact check me on
Jeff
that later,
Bezos.
but I'm pretty sure Jeff Bezos has like a rocket crew, like a space crew with just hella rich people, and they're going to space. And Michael Strahan's one of them.
Good for him, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, good for him. I guess.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'd love to go to space. Did you see First Man with Ryan Gosling in it?
I don't think I saw that one.
Did you see La La Land?
No, I didn't see it, but I know that's the musical.
Well, basically, it's the director he also casted Ryan Gosling to be in the movie about Neil Armstrong. And
Oh.
I was already interested in going to see it, and I went to see it in theaters. And like, I don't know if you've had many experiences with this where it's like, it's one of those movies you had to see in theaters because they put you in like a POV shot of him launching to the moon. And like, it's in the theater and like the surround sound, it's like blasting and shaking. It's like, that's when I was like, oh, dude, I bet it is like really cool to like go to the moon and everything and see all that stuff.
Dude, definitely. Like that would just be some unearthly. You can never come back. It's like taking my parents will watch this, a tab of LSD, and like you can never really like come back from that and like be the same. Like that's like going to space. You know what I mean? Like you have a whole different perspective on things. Like, and it's like, whoa. So I feel where you're coming from. Also, that topic of seeing a movies in theaters alone, like Interstellar and all space movies, I feel you just have to see in theaters.
Yeah.
Like it's just one of those things.
That's true. I think I remember telling Kory when he saw First Man, he was like, "Bro, you have to go see it in theaters." I was like, "Is the theater really that different?" And he was like, "Are you stupid? It's so much different in theaters."
I think it depends too. I mean, I think you could go watch a rom-com and it'd be the same as if you were in your snuggie, at home, just chilling. But if you're trying to go watch like a cinematic masterpiece experience, like you got to go to like IMAX or something.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
All right. So now what everybody's been waiting for, we get to interview the man himself. Drum roll, please. All right. So obviously, I think most people know you as a musician, right? How exactly, let's talk about how you got into that field. I know that one of your earliest memories was monthly jam sessions with your family and during your childhood and everything. Who really all in your family contributed to these jam sessions?
Yeah, so when I was born, even kind of out to you, my parents were in a band. They were called the Ladies and Gentlemen. My mom was the singer and my dad played guitar. And so when I was born, I grew up in Stone Mountain until I was about 5 and then came to Dunwoody. But when I grew up, there was a whole my basement was just music instruments just all around. Like everything was always set up. And so jam sessions happened out, when I was a little kid. And there's always I always like beeline to the drum set because it was always there. It took the least amount of, effort to set up, learn, put down anything like that. It was just always set up. So as a kid, I would just go and just like start banging on it, and that was when I was about 5, 6, 7. I just kept doing it. And I never really thought anything of it in the moment. I was just like, I'm good at this. And I like doing this. It's cool. Mm-hmm. But yeah, back when I was a kid, that was when jam sessions happened when I was like, a baby, and I would like hear them like rehearsing and practicing, and at our family reunions, I would go and they would be, playing songs that they would be rehearsing. And I thought it was really just like a really cool thing to see, my parents just like singing, like having fun, like not taking it too serious, just like having a good time doing their hobbies. And I guess later down the road, it kind of like truly impacted me. But I was talking to my dad about this the other day is, ever since I was a kid, like my dad would quiz me on music, and it started, all the Michael Jackson 5 songs, he would quiz me on that, and like, all the albums and that. And then it would move on to like Stevie Wonder, like, okay, you hear this harmonica, you hear this synth, who is that? Stevie Wonder. You hear the horns, you hear these harmonies, this falsetto, who is that? That's Earth, Wind and Fire. You hear this, raspy voice and this organ, who is that? That's Al Green. And I feel like that really, when I was growing up, that heavily impacted my ear was hearing these artists my dad would put on the radio, him quizzing me on it. And I'm like, oh, I've never heard this song, but yeah, that's Sam Cooke. I can hear that rasp in his voice. And so that was one of the things that really impacted my voice and my ears growing up. And I feel like that's something that had the biggest impact on my music career. My what's happening with me so far was listening to my dad and him quizzing me on these artists. So I think that's something that really impacted me when I was more younger. And then I went to high school and then started a band with a couple of my buddies, and I guess I'm here from there. So
right. So I mean, you obviously touched the drums first, or at least that was the easiest one to kind of figure out. What was the first instrument I guess you kind of got lessons or try to learn for real, I guess?
I've never gotten. I got my first lesson maybe a year and a half ago. I'm self-taught on everything, and drums. I never really, I always knew how to do that. That was something that came natural to me. I was a drummer, till I came to college, I was a drummer. I really started to teach myself and dive in, because on drums, you can just kind of keeping a beat. You're plugging your headphones in and kind of jamming out to that. And so I don't really consider that really learning, because it was something that was just inherently I could do already. But I remember it was sophomore year, of high school, hearing Songs About Jane. My favorite album of all time is Songs About Jane. And I was like, I want to learn how to play these songs. And my mom had an old Jasmine acoustic guitar and I was collecting dust. It was set up, but it was collecting dust. And I remember I would pick it up, and I initially started playing was I would have the guitar, and I started I'm a lefty naturally. And so I picked it up and I was just moving along to Adam Levine's, his voice is what I really would start playing to. And I would move my finger along the strings to copy his voice more so the melodies and the chords of the guitar. And one day I was messing around, and my dad was flip it the other way around. And I was like, why? He was like, I mean, it's this is, I know you're a lefty, but please learn this way. It'll be much easier for you in the long run. And that was there was the fifth or sixth time I ever picked up a guitar. He was flip the other way, dude. And I was all right. And so then, I started to really hone in my ear more and really just start practicing on that. And then learned on my chords, learn pentatonic scale, learn how to incorporate major and minor. And so that guitar is really the first thing I really tried to, learn that, and so much YouTube, much YouTube.
Yeah, dude. I know advice people always give me if you're ever trying to do anything, at least for our generations, just look it up on YouTube. People 20 years ago, they're well, we didn't have YouTube back in the day. We had to pay some guy down the street $50 an hour for lessons. And I'm well, that sucks.
I love saying that, but to our, advantage, we have these resources now. We'd be depriving ourselves of this knowledge. Why do that when it's we have access to it so readily available? Why not utilize YouTube? So I don't care about it. I know people talk. It's I'm gonna use it if it's there. And it's got me this far. So
yeah. One of the, you brought up Songs About Jane, and that's just something interesting I wasn't thinking about, but that is a fantastic album for, its time and even still today. How do you feel about, Maroon 5 doesn't really make music like that anymore,
Yeah, I have a strong opinion about this, actually. Songs
Okay.
About Jane, best album, and to their props to them, but that's a hard album to top. In general, B-Side Collection, great album as well. Never Gonna Leave This Bed, also great album, fantastic. But Songs About Jane is the best. And I feel I was a freshman in high school when it was Moves Like Jagger came out, and I was oh, this is good. This is a good song. Their last good song, in my opinion. I'm not gonna knock a musician, but in my personal opinion, they got along the popular wave, and And then Payphone came out, and I was lost it. That's it. I can't even do it anymore. Moves Like Jagger, great song. That was the last really thing I get down to from Maroon 5. But past that, previously Maroon 5, oh my God, huge fan. I feel that's the one artist I know most of the discography to, I'm not gonna call it guilty pleasure because it's music. No, it's guilty pleasure in music. I don't care. Like you like what you like. Don't be ashamed of it at all. I love Maroon 5, dude.
That's true.
That's true.
So you talked about how your dad also plays the guitar. How close would you say you really are to your father? Because obviously you share a name with him and you also share a name with, I'm guessing, his father and everything.
Yeah.
But how has he really played a role in your life into who you've become today?
Oh my God, so much. Like that's my best friend. Like we talk all the time. We talk every other day. Like this is his guitar that I stole right here. The candy red Strat. Like stole that from him. He doesn't mind though. But like in terms of like, my growth as a human and just like a man as a person, like he's been there with me, like, just alongside of me, like the whole way there. And like, just very thankful, got paid for the whole college, like, very supportive of everything I did, like would, come knocking on the door midnight, turn the amp down, bro. It's time to go to sleep. Like put your headphones on, like, cause, I'd be jamming like back when I lived there in high school and he'd be like, I love that you're doing this. Turn it down at midnight, come to my shows whenever he's able to, like very supportive. Yeah. Me and my dad are like that type and mom.
That's fantastic. Cause I know a lot of musicians in general just don't really have that kind of support, but I know your dad played guitar and you had some of his guitars, but I didn't really know that he was, he had a band of his own earlier back in the day. So I guess he really has been super supportive of your dreams and everything like that. Right.
So supportive. And in terms of that support, what came to mind is we missed the crucial aspect of the podcast is that telling the viewers that we were all roommates freshman year of college.
Oh yeah, we're getting there.
We're getting there.
We're getting there. Yep. I got you.
Okay. And I just want to say one of the most supportive things he did was freshman year. Remember when I had mono?
We have that in the document.
Oh my God.
That's literally the next line. I was about to say, like your dad really is a stand-up guy from the times we met him. It's not like he was some parent who came and he's like, oh, these are just my son's random roommates. He's like, he was really cool hanging out with us when he was in the dorm. And yeah, I was like, Benji got really sick at Eagle Village and your dad drove all that way down, dude. Camped out in the dorm.
Dude, I was
nursing you back to health.
Yes, man. I remember that. It was like 11:30 at night and like I was feeling so weak and I had thrown up and I never throw up. Even to this day, I just don't throw up. And I yacked in the toilet and I was like, text my dad. I was like, Dad, I do not feel good, man. Like something is wrong. I'm like, I couldn't even make it. Like, how like from my room to the bathroom, it's literally like 6 steps. And it was so painful for me to get to that door. That's still the sickest I've ever been in my life. Yeah. And I remember he came down, he was like, got you, I'll be there at 8 a.m. the next morning. And I woke up and blah, blah, blah. And like, he's coming there with like 5 Gatorades and like lots of soup. And I was like, that's probably like the coolest, like one of the coolest things ever. I was like, my dad's coming back. He was just sleeping on the couch. I'm like,
I remember that. I walked in one day, like from class or something. I was like, oh, his dad's on the couch. I wonder if everything's okay.
Yeah, no, everything is not okay, bro. That was horrible. But yeah, no, me and my dad are like super tight. Like, that man's always got my back for sure.
That's fantastic. Good. So you formed a band called Wildsong in high school?
Yeah, Wildsong. Yep, Wildsong. Junior year of high school. Me, Andrew Ford, Sam Haas. It was just a 3-piece originally. I was on drums because it was, it was there. I had a drum set. Everything was easy. Andrew Ford, my roommate upstairs, was on bass guitar. And then Sam Haas, my best friend from high school, was on guitars and vocals. And that was like, the first introduction to, playing music was being in a band, was really Wildsong and like a learning with other people. I remember it started because one day Sam had just he transferred from Dunwoody from St. Pius. And he invites me over one day because he has this cool house, has a river in the back. And we're in his house and I was like, is that a drum set, dude? And he was like, yeah, bro, you know how to play it? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, I play guitar. I was like, no way. And so we started playing. He plugged in his amp and me, so I was playing Superstition. And I'm like, okay, dude, I see what kind of stuff you're on, bro. We can like do this. And so since then, like we would just like go like, be degenerates, high schoolers, and then go jam after. And then Andrew I hadn't met Andrew at the time actually. And we were at one of Sam Haas's pig roasts, and he introduced me. Like, I knew this kid. Like, he went to my same high school, was a year younger than me, so I knew who he was. And he introduced me one day to Andrew, and I was like, "What's up, man? Like, nice to meet you." And then like next week, we were all together in his basement, and we were just like kind of plugging in and like playing, and we were like, "Sounds pretty good." Like, it didn't sound great 'cause I'm like 15, 16, didn't really know what we're doing, but it sounded better than I feel like the average 15 and 16-year-old band.
Right.
You're actually taking the time to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, we're taking time to do it, and we all love Led Zeppelin. So like all together, that kind of made like a good, dynamic between us.
Mm-hmm. So what genre did you guys really play, or did you guys experiment with a lot of things, or what was that all about?
I feel like it was a lot of rock, blues, and rock. Standard pentatonic, 6-bar, 12-bar blues kind of thing. Like we didn't know too much, and we were like really, like doing a lot of covers. Like we were trying to figure out how to like write songs. And Sam was a great writer for, being a 16-year-old kid in high school. Like kid could write a song very well. So it was more like blues rock. I don't know if you guys have listened to any of it. We have 2 songs on SoundCloud from back in the day, but he could write a song, man. And so yeah, it was really like blues and rock stuff,
Okay.
Yeah, you have to send a link over. We'll give it a listen for sure.
And we'll put that link below in the comments too.
Yeah, no, we will. It's Reality, which was like our banger of a song, and then it was Friend of Mine were the 2 that we really put in. Yeah, so those 2.
So this is a question for me because I really don't have memories like this. What was it like just being in high school, juggling like schoolwork and class loads and stuff like that, and then also just trying to figure yourself out as a musician and doing jam sessions and all that stuff?
Yeah, definitely. It's something that I really like. I feel like I just didn't really think about like the juggling part, because it was like I did school, like you had to do school, 8 to 3:30 or whatever, and then once you're done with school, like bet I'm free, and I would just go home and like listen to records and like just plug my bass in and try to just figure it out how to do that, like figure out what are they playing, like how can I do that. And it was like we had the opportunity of like playing a whole bunch of shows and everything, and it was cool. And it's like, I don't know, I feel like you have not more time in high school, but like you have less responsibility in high school.
Yeah.
So like you have more time to do things that don't, like, I'm not gonna say don't matter, but like you can just focus on, things that, because it's only school. It's really the only thing you have to ever focus on is school. So everything else just comes like you just do whatever. So I didn't really, I guess I didn't really know, like I didn't really like realize what was going on when I was like, like playing music and like juggling school and like this musician stuff, because it was just like, a hobby at the time that I just love to do, so.
That's cool. So kind of transitioning to keep up with the school thing, our origin story with you and us, our paths crossed at Georgia Southern University. We roomed together freshman year of college. What was your experience like that down there? Like, how did you decide that you wanted to go there?
Yeah, like Georgia Southern was, to be honest, like once I finished high school, like once I graduated high school, it was like college was like, yeah, I definitely wanted to go, but I didn't really care where I went. It was one of those things where it was like my GPA was like a 3.0, so I was like, I can't get into any like great school. I can't get into Georgia, and I can't get into Tech. So it's like wherever I go now, it's like whatever. And I know that Kennesaw like was like just on the kind of come up, and like I knew Georgia Southern like partied a lot, and I wanted to party, so I was like, I'm going to Southern, and I was like, that's where I'm gonna go. That's where I ended up, and yeah, roommates, Eagle Village. I can't forget what room number, but
there's a story that Kory and I talk about like almost monthly at this point, where it was, I think, move-in day, and we were moving into the dorm. And I brought like this trash can, and it had a little top on it. And I remember I put it out there, and then like, I don't know, an hour or 2 hours later, I just hear from the kitchen. I was still unpacking in my dorm, and I just hear from the kitchen, "This lid has got to go." And I think you're like taking the lid off the trash can. And I was just like, okay, I respect that. All right.
Bro, I ride hard. I hate lids on trash cans. The one in my house right now, gone. But I hate lids on trash cans. They serve no purpose. It's like you're going to get them dirty. You got to flip. You got to touch it every time you put it in. And if your trash is stinking, just take it out. Like if it's starting to smell, just take it out. Like, don't. Oh my God, I hate tops, bro. I kind of remember that night you said that. I put it under the sink.
It's stuck in my mind because like we were talking about it. We're like, are you really gonna bring this up to him? Are we really gonna talk about that? But I was like,
that,
we
that
have
really
to.
is like our first memory of like besides just hey, who is our
our roommate. Yeah.
Say hi first.
you did, but like that's how I remember like
okay,
this guy's gonna stick in my head.
We have a type A roommate. No, this is not good. Like a control freak.
But
no,
I think I operate lidless now on my garbage because I think that is a better way to do it.
It gets in the way.
It does. It really does.
Like I appreciate you being so tidy though, because the next year when I think me and Evan moved to like a different dorm, our roommates were absolutely terrible, dude. Like their room smelled like bad and there's like mold everywhere. Like it was gross.
You'd be surprised how common that is. Like I didn't know either because like, I lived with y'all. Everything was tidy, clean, like no worries. And I lived with Shanzi, tidy, clean, all of us tidy, clean. And then I lived with one of my roommates and like, it was like, oh God, like, oh my God. It's like, when your environment's clean, everything just is better. And like to our discussion, we didn't have any sinks or anything. So we had a sink. We didn't have an oven or anything. So like the dishes weren't going to be crazy. All I did was take out the trash. Was easy. And like, I don't know, but like, tidy roommates are like hard to come by really. And it's something that's like, it's kind of a crazy thing to think about, but like they're far in between, dude.
Yeah, you and Jacob were definitely real nice to have as roommates for sure. You guys were awesome.
Dude, yes. Every other dorm, like every freshman dorm I went in, that wasn't ours. I was like, disgusting.
So when we met you, I think you introduced me. You're like, hey, I'm Benji. I study marketing. Was it in your mind that you didn't want to necessarily go down there to study music or anything like that?
Yeah, like studying music was always something I was like, oh, that'd be cool too. But like I never did jazz band in high school. Like I did, like percussion. I played percussion in middle school. So I could like do like very elementary reading, but like nothing to try out on. So it was something that I was like a really more self-taught guy. Like wasn't really, I couldn't read like that. And I couldn't, like do anything spectacular, like in regards to like this curriculum of music. I had a good ear and I loved to play it. And that's what I had working for me. But I thought it'd be cool to go to AIM one day, like as a, like, in those like midlife crisis 50-year-old moves, like be cool to go like, back in high school if I knew I want to do that. But I think AIM would be really cool. But yeah, it's something that didn't really cross my mind. I wanted to like be in the woods really, and then also just play music. So, and like, I was an incoming forestry major at AUJ when I transferred. So I knew I wanted to be outside, but I was marketing at Southern because like there was no environmental science degrees there. And like, I just knew marketing. I was really good at that too. And like, honestly, I was just stick with it because it's still tight. It's very versatile, but like still, it was just, like, that's why I started marketing coming in. That's a good memory, Kory. I'm surprised you remember that, bro.
What, the marketing thing?
Yeah, the marketing thing. I think that I didn't even, like that's a good, I don't know.
Well, the reason why is because I knew when I met you, I'm like, awesome. I have a musician as a roommate now. And then you say, I'm studying marketing. And then, I think at the time I was studying chemistry and like I was doing fine in it, but I was like, this is stupid. Like, why am I learning about like the periodic table? And like, it's just stuff that I wasn't thinking about. So I switched to graphic design and that was the second semester of our freshman year. And I like, it was kind of like the same way about how we have YouTube. I'm like, I don't really need to go. And that's kind of why I didn't study music either. I'm like, I don't really need to go study and spend all this money on art, Like I should probably get a degree that I feel would have at least some sort of a decent backup. And that's when I knew that you studied marketing. I had a few different friends who studied marketing. I'm like, I guess I'm a marketing major now.
Did you graduate with marketing?
Huh? Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Nice, brother.
And then, I'll meet some people who are like 30, which is not old, but we make it sound old as like, 20-year-old. Yeah. And they're like, yeah, the reason why I got marketing is because it wasn't like today. It's like, you have all these fields of like digital marketing or sustainable marketing, all these things. They're like, yeah, marketing back then was like, literally, can you just sell me something? And it's like the easiest degree. And I'm like, it's easy, but it's like people look at it and they're like, it's business. I'm like, sign me up, dude.
Yeah, that's a great way to look at that. Yes.
Yeah. So in 2018, you transferred to Georgia?
Yeah, spring 2018, January 2018. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I remember like it was our sophomore year at Georgia Southern, and I used to park at what was it called? Was it the rack? The gym?
Yeah.
Yeah, the rack. Yeah, I would park there and then take a shuttle to campus, even though it's not really that big of a walk, you know? And I think I saw you one day. I'm like, oh, dude, we should hang out sometime. And it was like the end of the semester. You're like, oh, dude, I'm transferring next semester. But like, you know, I was like, you know, that's cool. I'm glad that I'm like, oh, this is probably the last time, you know, I might see him. And I think that was the last time I've seen you in person anyways. But, you know, so in 2018, spring 2018, middle of our kind of second year, you transferred to Georgia. What did it mean for you to be immersed in this kind of growing musical hub, especially for our generation now?
Yeah, I mean, that was really the number one reason I would say I made the switch. One, because the cops in Statesboro were terrible. Can't do that anymore. And that's really number two. Number one is because the music scene in Athens it was something that was there, and it was something I needed to be. And I know, like, you know, when at Southern, that's something that I really realized, like, I need to be like surrounded by good musicians that, you know, I can play shows, and like I can, like, you know, be immersed in that kind of just area. And so that was like definitely the main reason, like, I made that switch. But yeah, Athens just, you know, it's it's the greatest college town to like be musically inclined at. And like, especially as an undergraduate student, like the community here is great. Everybody supports one another. Like every Athens musician here is just like, everybody, you know, pretty much knows everybody or knows of everybody in, you know, a certain way, you know, to some degree. I mean, and it's just something that, you know, it's just a really good spot to be in.
So moving on up into the on the Ben Holmes timeline here, do you want to talk a little bit about your experience with your would you call Underground Springhouse your first like real experiences in like a band kind of
professional wise, right? I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that, you know, it'd be my biggest thus far, but I wouldn't say I feel like, you know, Wildsong be my main, because, you know, just to kind of go circle back that just a little bit, you know, we played 2 shows at Smithsonian Bar, you know what I mean? As high school, it was like, we almost got kicked out of the green room because we snuck beer in, and the bouncer guy was like, fun story, actually. It was senior year. It was, I think, the week after we had just graduated. Yeah, the week after we graduated high school, we had, you know, Wildsong's last show at Smithsonian Bar. Everybody from our class came. Pretty much everybody had fake IDs at that point. And if they didn't have fake ID, you know, we kind of just snuck them some money and they would let us in. And so we were all hanging out there, and we were in the green room, and the guy was like, you guys can't have this beer in here. You guys are 18. 1, we were underage, and 2, we snuck beer from the gas station next door. And you can't, those are both 2 no-nos, because they give you cases of beer there to have, and we had an extra one. And so the bouncer guy was like, you guys are not going to come back here. Like, this is messed up. Like, if I see one beer back here, you're kicked out. Fast forward 2 years, we play a show January 2019 at Smithsonian Bar upstairs, Underwater Springhouse, and we sold it out. But we actually hit fire capacity. We like went past selling out, and we were over fire capacity at that show. And the bouncer, same dude, comes in, and 3 of us that were in Wildsong are in the Springhouse. Bouncer comes in. He's like, hey, can you guys sign our poster for it? You know, like, you guys sold it out, did a great job. You know, you guys are on the big things. Like, sign this for us. You know, me, Charlie, and Ford are looking at each other like, this is the guy that tried to kick us out. Senior year of high school. And we're like, yeah, we'll sign it for you. We didn't say anything, because we were just like, we were on like cloud, like we just got off stage, and we like signed up for him, and then he left, and we started cracking up. So we were like, that dude tried to kick us out when we were 17 years old. Now look at him.
That's awesome.
Anyways, yeah, I would say that Wildsong's definitely our first kind of, you know, experience in that music industry kind of, you know, setting, that, you know, band setting. And then Springhouse was definitely a great like starting platform, you know, to like move forward on, to answer your question. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So how has Athens as a city, you kind of touched on it a little bit, and it's, a music oriented city. It's pretty, involved in the music scene. How would you kind of explain that helping your growth as a musician? Like, did UGA provide any resources, or like how did that play out?
Yeah, no, I would say just so much more of the students, man. It's like, you start a group of some guys, if you can throw like 15 songs together, man, like 15, 20 songs together, you can play anywhere in Athens. Like, you got frat shows, sorority shows. Like, I feel like it's something they didn't really have, like, bands come out and play, back when
we had DJ Nino. That was about it.
Yeah, it's everywhere. Yeah, exactly. And so, like, it's in Athens, you have frat shows, sorority shows, you have bars you play at. You have, 40 Watt, Georgia Theater, Southern Brewing Company. You've got like Flickr, you've got like all these places, Roadhouse, you've got all these places to play at. And so there's just so much more opportunity, to let you grow as a musician in Athens, Boar's Head too. And there's so many spots you can play at here.
So we touched on this with our previous guest, because they're a band from Athens, a prog rock band. But
who was it?
It's a band called Movers. Have you heard of them?
Okay. I haven't heard of them, no.
We'll have to send you some of their stuff. But a question I asked them, because they also have a huge fondness for the Athens music scene, is just, did you really feel like it was one of those things like, oh, as an individual, as a band, I'm not really competing with anybody. It feels nice that we're all trying to make it big.
Yes, that is another massive part in why I feel like Athens is such an individualized like area, and just a great area to be in, is because nobody's competing at all. Everybody is trying to get shows for each other, like get shows and like play together. There's no type of I don't know, like bad blood between anybody, and like there's no like, I'm trying to get better than you, bigger than you there. And like people that do feel that way, I haven't ran into many because they probably don't succeed. It's like, there's no like, they don't succeed as well. But I feel like if there is that kind of like thought mentality to it, you don't like succeed, because that's just like, kind of a toxic thing to think in terms of music. Is music's not a competition, it's, so yeah, very accepting. All musicians very accepting of each other here in Athens.
Yeah. So, you were in Underground Springhouse for how many years? 3 years?
3 years. Yeah. 3 years and some change. 3 years and like 2 months, I guess.
Did you, what was your favorite part of, I guess, were you a founding member too?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
What was it like just kind of seeing that, and then, progressing up, and, you're playing at bars or smaller shows. And then I saw you guys play at the Georgia Theater. What was it like just kind of seeing this baby grow along the way?
It was just like basically a dream come true. Like it was me, Charlie Haas, Andrew Ford, and Logan Hart, which is Charlie's fraternity brother. So it was just us four starting out. And Charlie hit me up and he's like, "You're going to Georgia." And like, me and Logan just played, like acoustic sets everywhere, like trying to get a band together. And I was like, "Yeah, for sure. Like, I'll come play bass." Like, he was like, "We had a bass player." I was like, "Yeah, I'll come play bass. I know how to do that." Like, I play guitar, and like I had a bass guitar, and like, so I was like, "Yeah, I can play bass." And he called Andrew up. Well, actually, we had a drummer named Andrew Stevens initially, and who was Charlie and Logan's fraternity brother. So it was just us four. And we were together, and it was like, it was good. Like we were putting it together, and then we would call Ford when he would come up, and when he played, when it was us four, it was just like electric, just an electric thing. And me, Charlie, and Ford were all in Wildsong together, like growing up in high school. And so to see us, keep doing the same, took like a year and a half break off because college, and like Ford, which you guys were in high school, took a year break, came back, and we're doing the same thing in Athens under like different like different group of people. It's like it was just like, I would say it was a dream come true just then because we didn't know what was happening in the moment. But it was just crazy to see that like we were still, and we were happy to see that we were just still doing it and like playing shows at like bars, you know what I mean, which we couldn't really do like beforehand. But now that we're in college, we can play in bars because like right down the road from where you live. So I thought that part was just really cool.
I remember sitting in Hendy, like studying at Georgia Southern, and you guys had released. Oh my God. You guys had just released Joy Felt, and I was like, yeah. Holy shit, this is I was a roommate with this guy in college. Like this guy is putting out some good stuff here. That was really cool just to kind of hear.
Yeah, and sure. We put out Joy Felt. I think it was like October or something like that. No, it wasn't October. I can't remember when it got put out. But I remember we like, it was funny because we started at this bar called Double Barrel in Athens. It doesn't exist anymore. It's like a completely new thing now, but it started Double Barrel. And that's where we were playing these shows at. I remember after like a month and a half, 2 months of playing shows, we had never practiced. Like we had never had a practice. We all just knew that we were talented musicians enough to just go on stage. Like Charlie would literally just be like, "This is an A minor." Like, I'd be like, "Okay, bet." And I'm like, "You just throw me the key out before the song." And we didn't really think to like make a thing. We were just thinking, we're making like, $80 like every Thursday night, like playing a show, like hell yeah, dude, of course. Mm-hmm. And I remember after 2 months we were on stage one day and Charlie like walks up to the mic and he was like, "Hey guys, we're Underground Springhouse. We're happy to play music for you tonight." And I just look at him like on stage, so I'm like, "What? Like that's a pretty cool name." Like there was no consulting or anything. Like he just dropped on us, and I was like, I feel like that's a really good thing to do as a band. Just like have if you have a member that has like a cool name, mm-hmm. like just so there's no like kind of like dialect on it. Just we're gonna go with that, and that's how I figured out what our band name was. Like he just kind of dropped it on us, like, and I was like, "That's a pretty cool name," and nobody ever debated anything after that. We're just kind of went with it. Come to find out, it was what they're in Fiji here at Georgia, and come to find out that's what the old Fiji's in like the 70s called their underground liquor bunker, was the Underground Springhouse back in like 78. So that's where that like really comes from. But yeah, that was like how we started. And coming in terms of Joyful, that's when we booked that studio session after like calling us a band, like after like a month and a half, 2 months, 3 months or whatever, how much time had gone by since then. We didn't really know what we were doing at the time at all. And we booked that studio session like having like very minimal idea of what our originals would be. So everything that got written in that studio session, we pretty much learned that night, / the day before. Like we had heard like his idea for it or whatever. And then we booked the session not having any idea what we were doing. And then we just like recorded Joyfell. I remember Charlie sent Joyfell and it was like, "Don't let me down because I'm counting on you." Mm-hmm. Like that's what he like writes, kind of a little. He writes on his acoustic guitar, so he's like writing a little bit slower. And I remember, dude, what if you play this on your electric and you were like, and so that's when we were kind of just all learning that in the studio together. And and I was like, okay, got it. So it's like D to E. Okay, cool. And so I'm like, that's like, I think that was my third take. Second or third take was like what's on the record. And like, I don't know, we hadn't known like it was gonna blow up like that. Like we had we wanted to have something down. We wanted to have something that would, stand the test of time. Like we wanted to have music that was ours out. And we didn't know like what it would be in like a couple of years. We didn't know it hit 1 million streams like, a year or two down the road, which is like really cool. But we had just no idea at the time. But I think just to see it grow into that was something great. And like it was just something that was just like, we didn't know what we were doing in the studio at the time. And then it just came to be what it is now.
Yeah. I remember it dropped and like, maybe like after a week it had, I don't know how many plays, but not as much as it does now. And I just remember seeing like the count was whatever it was. And I just looked over to Evan. I'm like, dude, our old roommate is like world-class famous now, dude. Like his music's on Spotify.
Yeah, dude. That is such a good feeling. And then it made the discovery. It's like making everybody discover weekly playlists. It's like our pen famous. Like everybody like texts me. It's like, "Look what's on my Discover Weekly this week." And I was like, nice, dude. That's kind of crazy. And so like, yeah, dude, it's just really cool, man.
That's awesome.
So, you kind of just started out spontaneously. It wasn't like it was a formed idea to just start the band and everything. When you're playing bass guitar, is that kind of how it is for a lot of things? They're like, "Hey, you play bass guitar? We need a bass guitar player, dude." Has that ever happened to you? Just like, because in my experience, I don't know many bass guitar players. I know like maybe 3 and they're in like 12 different bands.
Yeah, dude. After, my leave from Underground Springhouse in June, I just get usually about like every other week, I'll get a text and it's like, "Hey, we got a show. Like, can you make this?" And like, hey, I'm like recording this song, like, can you hop on this track and like lay something down and just think of something for this. And so like, I feel like, I was a hitman, like a hired gun, really, like after that. And I feel like people like, I feel like people were like kind of a little more hesitant to reach out to me when I was in Springhouse, because they were like, well, like, like you can't hit him up because he's like busy doing that. But well, they really didn't. And then right after I left, it was like, can you play the show with us? Can you play the show with us? And so I'm getting a lot of that. So yeah, there's not many like, like great bass players that like have great feel, like there are, but like, there's not as many as guitarists or drummers there are, so, so yeah, I mean, I get hit up all the time now.
So obviously you left Springhouse, you said in June?
June.
And now you're a part of a new band though, right? Champagne Lane?
Yes, I'm in Champagne Lane now. Another buddy I went to high school with, Jake Rogers, and his buddy he went to GCSU with, Jackson Lux. They started a group, and Jake is easily just far and away the best musician. Like I personally know, that guy has just a golden ear, like great feel. Like dude's incredible. Records all the music himself, and he also like does the mixing and does like everything for it. And I don't really know, like he's one of those guys like in high school, like he kind of kept it low key, like. And then we found out he played guitar like after we had like graduated. And dude, it's just a sick musician that just was like just mad humble enough to the point where nobody even knew he played guitar. Like, but
did you find out he played guitar at a pig roast as well? Is that
no? I think I found out because him and Charlie were making music, and I was like, oh, this is pretty good. Like, he would like mess around on his Logic, back when like he was a senior, and I was like, oh, that's pretty good. And then like I don't know, he like pulled some Robert Johnson shit where he like just like kind of fell off, or like I just didn't keep up, I guess. And then come back and like I hear him playing, and I'm just like, oh, like, dude, you are fucking incredible. So yeah, I'm playing with Champagne Lane now. Me and Ford, he plays drums now for them, and we just recently released a live album 2 weeks ago. We played the Georgia Theater, opening up for a few of our buddies. So we'll put that link down below too.
Yeah. So obviously you guys were friends for going back to high school, but what was the connection to bring you on board now?
What, let me think. Like, I can't think of the second, like the introduction to that. I think one day we're like, let's just jam, whatever, like cool. And then this was like, and Jake played a few of our shows, Springhouse shows, like when we were, when I was in Springhouse, he would play of our shows when Logan can show up. We would love what he played, because dude is so talented. And we actually had this interim period where we needed a guitarist, and Jake took a year from like getting a job once he graduated, because he's a year above us. So we took that year off, and we were going to like recruit him, like be the new guitarist of Springhouse, because Logan was leaving because he got like this job. And Jake really like started like really focusing on Champagne Lane stuff. And he was like, I kind of want to focus on this, and like mad respect, because that's what, that's what he was like real best at. It's like, doing his own thing and like recording his music. He has like a Kevin Parker feel, like he's doing everything. And then Jackson sings and plays the trumpet. And one day he like calls me up, and like he's like, dude, can you play drums like on one of these tracks? And I was like, dude, absolutely, I'll be in Atlanta like tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow. And I come down.
Up to you, right?
Up to you. Yeah, I record Up to You on drums. And I think that connection is always there, because he like it's challenging to find musicians who are like humble, chill, and talented. Like having like that package deal is like, I wish it was like more common, but like it's not. And like Jake and I and Ford as well, and like some of our buddies, like we just have like, we're just friends first, and then we're also just happen to be like, pretty good musicians as well, and like have just great ears all around, which is, I'm very happy. I'm from where I'm from, just kind of all helped us like grow to get to that point. It's like seeing like homies around you grow and like get better at that. And so we're always on each other's radar. And like now when I left Springhouse, I was like, okay, dude, I'm ready to full time it. And also when we were out of Springhouse, I was playing shows with Champagne Lane, as their bassist, because it's just Jake and Jackson. They don't have a live band. It's on some Kevin Parker stuff. So we need a live band to play with them. And now that now it's Springhouse, I'm just straight up playing with Champagne Lane, and oh my god, I'm loving it so much too, man. Like they're such talented dudes.
You're the pond to Kevin Parker, and that's what you're doing.
Yeah, literally.
So, you just said you guys just dropped a live album, but have you guys been working on anything, tracking for like in the studio, or that we can expect in the future with you on it?
Yeah, I mean, with me on it, I don't know. We guys still got to figure that part out because it's like, dude, the system we're in now is like Jake is like, writing the music and like he's like he'll send it to me whenever he's got a new thing, something in the works, and he's like, dude, I got something. Like, hear this out. I'm like, I'm loving it, and I'll just be like, and then he'll write it based on 4, and he's like, this is it, and I'm like, all right, cool, let's do it. And so like I think that dynamic and like it's really important in a a group of individuals that are playing music to like not interrupt the flow and the workflow and like the direction that a creative direction that somebody's flowing in. And with Champagne Lane, Jake is taking care of like all this, he has all these ideas in his head and like he's doing like all of this, and and that's what has gotten their success to the point they're at now, is that he's taking that time to like really put in the work and like really listen and hear out and feel out what he's doing. And so that's how I respect it so much, because like he's doing his thing and I'm not gonna respect, because I love their music so much, and I'm just so blessed to be like a part of like playing that. Like I'll just listen to that stuff anyways, like their music is so good, and so I'm just so happy I get to like play it live. It's just like really awesome. So but in terms of something me being on it, like it's it'll be in the works one day. Right now I'm just really like trying to own into my own craft and like really focusing on like playing the best of my ability and learning everything I can right now, but it's in the works right now. I know I might be talking like way too much, but on a side note, I almost had a band with a girl singer. That's my next project that I want to do.
Really?
That would be, Lunar Vacation, right?
Yeah, they're from like my area too. Like they went
Yeah.
to Pius, like right down the road from Dunwoody. Like that group is just so talented.
That's like a, indie rock band that is obviously associated with like Atlanta and everything. And like they have like a girl vocalist, and like that really is like a cool experience that I also hope I get to try someday.
Definitely. Caroline, her sister, the singer sister, went to Southern with us, right?
No,
Did not know that.
Yeah, Caroline Rapaski. Like, yeah, I think I forgot her sister's name, but she's the lead singer for Lunar Vacation. Like, yeah, they're all from the same kind of vibe.
That's really cool.
Well, hopefully we could get them on here next
someday.
someday.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, they're not too far. Like, I mean, they went to Pius, which is literally like right down the road from where I grew up at. So that's just a talented, like, I don't know, just the Atlanta kids. They're pretty good for themselves musically.
So you're out of school now. I think at some point you'd like to do music full time. Are you doing are you working on the side too?
Yeah, I'm working on the side. I got to pay the bills somehow. Work on the side. I actually started working with this public benefit corporation called the Green Disco, and they operate full service sustainability for live events and like festivals. So I've been writing a lot of grants for them. I'm trying to like just fund money, like pre-seed fundraising. My other love is for the environment. And so like, I'm trying to really figure out a way to mix live music with the environment, at least like in a professional sense. I'm really trying to play the festivals themselves, but if I can, then I'm trying to like work with them and like work on them becoming more circular in that kind of sense. So I've been working with them a lot. Just doing my thing, picking up shows when I can.
Okay. Yeah, that was my next question. Is it like work Benji during the week and then music Benji on the weekends, or is it more of like a homogenous kind of mix?
Homogenous as shit, dude. We're one bench together.
That's awesome.
Yeah, man.
So here's just a shot out of a cannon, unrelated to music. I'll just be kind of blunt and straight up right now.
Yeah.
Artists of all mediums are typically not in peak athletic performance mode, but there's a fellow like you, we touched on this earlier with boxing, and you got it going on, dude. Like you're in pretty great shape. Like, did you play sports growing up or anything like that? Or
I was a diver in high school, and I was a pole vaulter. And pole vaulting diving was my main kind of the thing I did. That was like my 4-year sport. Pole vaulting is actually where Wildsong started, because I was a pole vaulter, Sam was a pole vaulter, and Ford was a pole vaulter. So after we had pole vault practice, that's when we would go to Sam's house and jam. And that's something I probably should have mentioned, is that really, if it wasn't for Dunwoody pole vaulting, there'd be no Wildsong, there probably would be no Springhouse if it wasn't for that.
Jeez.
So like, I was a diver pole vaulter, but I don't know. I just like, I always want to look good, and like I always want to be in shape, and like I have a fear of like, not a fear, but just like a very conscious kind of like way of thinking that I just never want to be out of shape. And I just love grinding too and like sweating as well. So I just fucking, you know, I like to mix too. Like I don't want to be, you know.
I remember freshman year when we lived together, I would like go out to the kitchen or something, and you had like this ab roller thing that you would like just do in the hallway. I was like, damn, I wish I had like the determination to just do that.
Dude,
You had like the perfect push-up too, right?
Yes. I swear, dude, I was at peak performance freshman year of college, man. Like you know, I'm probably in better shape than I was now, but I think I looked better then because it was like when you have new muscle, you know, new muscle looks so good. And plus I was just starting to drink alcohol and stuff and like just starting to like, you know, as you age, you know, you kind of just put on a little, you know, your metabolism starts slowing down. But I was in peak performance freshman year of college, boys. Like I still think about that. Like I would go to the rack every morning before class, like 10 a.m. I would go like 8 a.m., get back by like 10, walk to class. Like I do that every day. And like I was just eating, like you have all that food right there. Like what's it called? Landrum, Landy?
Yeah.
Oh my God, Landy, dude.
Food, yeah, food.
Dude. I'd go to like the vegan, vegetarian, like low fat area of Landy and just start going at it, dude. Dude, I was in peak shape then. I looked good then.
Yeah, dude. So with boxing now, like when you're being a part of a program, do you really have someone who's training with you all the time and kind of advising you on like workouts, and maybe do they advise you on diets or anything like that too?
No, my trainer I go in, I do 45 minutes Tuesdays and Thursdays, and we're running like this week it was footwork, last week it was head movement, kind of just focus on different things, combos. I gotta get better at my combos because I'm a southpaw, so like I'm a lefty, and so like sometimes it takes a little minute to acclimate to like getting normal combos down into like what I'm doing. So we're working on that too right now, and then he'll just like kick my ass with cardio, like shadow backs for like a minute and a half, 2 minutes, and then you go down, do burpees, like do some crunches, do some like ridiculous ab workout, and then you do like weighted punches, which is horrible, but it gets you right, man. I'm just like dripping sweaty, and I just fucking love it, dude. And
he'll occasionally give you a black eye too.
Yeah, give me a black eye. Hey, dude, but that's a learning lesson because one, I should have my hands up. 2, I should have, you know, followed the combo right, and then 3, it looks cool. So I'm not mad about it.
Yeah, definitely. Dude. So with boxing, do they really try to advise you like, hey, you should probably be like in this weight range, or like, you know, you should try to bulk up or anything like that, or slim down, or however it may be?
Not really, because like I'm only 2 months into it now. And so it's really more of like you know, what I wanted to do was learn the sport and like get like Canelo really. And so that's really what I was focusing on more so. Not like I don't really want to compete really, but I do want to know how to do it. Like if I had to compete, you know what I mean? So.
Right. So, you know, I just wanted to close out real quick. Obviously you're a part of Champagne Lane, and you're doing a lot of different things on the side, trying to hone your craft. Are you working on anything right now outside of music?
Yeah, I mean, I'm working with the Green Disco, trying to, you know, kind of get that pre-seed funding going on. Working on my, you know, mentality, self-discipline, mental focus kind of thing. Like working on a lot of keystone habits, you know, making my bed in the morning, getting up at 7 a.m. You know, I feel like, you know, post-grad's the time where you really like kind of, you know, figure out what to do with your time now that you don't like have to really do anything. Like I've got a degree, like of course get a job and everything, but it's like now you have the time to like really focus on finding like who you are as a person, you know, aside from like a curriculum. So I'm like, that's really the stage I'm in now. It's really a self-discovery phase. So that's really what I'm working on outside of music, even though that's kind of music is like, you know, intertwined with that self-discovery, you know, journey as well. So I
mean, it was the same for us. We were like, hey, you want to just start a podcast? Just
yeah,
do that?
Exactly.
Like we're just like,
just figure out what you want to do, figure out what works for you. Like, yeah, exactly. Y'all know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yep.
Right. So are you also working on any individual music projects, or do you write on your own or anything like that usually?
Yeah, I write on my own, you know, like I need to, you know, sometimes like I'm really good at writing like melodies, melodic. I have problems with bridges, dude. I have problems with bridges. And
same.
You know, I have a whole bunch of great choruses and like, sorry, Draco is bugging out. I have a great, like, you know, you go with choruses and stuff, but bridges, I have a whole bunch of like, you know, But anyways, I'm writing music. Yeah, that's part of the process. I have my journal. I write in, like almost every day. I try to write in every day, and like half it's like journal entries, and the other half just like little lyrics I think in my head. So yeah.
So is that the songwriting process for you? Is that the words come first, or do you usually try to figure out how words go with melody? Is that the challenge, and just trying to incorporate into a song eventually?
It's so funny that like I'll write like lyrics, and like I'll be like, oh, this is good, and then I'll like think of a chord melody in my head, and then I'll just write completely different lyrics, like completely. So I think the melody really comes in my head first. And I'm like, and I just think of the thing that like, is going on with my like world right now, like what's going on in my head or something. And I'll put that down on paper, and I'll try to like incorporate lyrics from, a previous, little poem I wrote or something into that song. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But, I feel like the process is different, almost every time. But for the most part, melody first, chorus in my head first, and then lyrics.
Right. I know a lot of people have probably seen this by now. I'm sure you have, but like Charlie Puth is like an absolute monster, dude. Like he'll just pull up like, oh, this text message looks funny to me. And he'll be able to write a whole song about just how the text message came to him. Like that's absolutely ridiculous.
That's like next level brain stuff. Him and Jacob, like, oh my God, like they're on some like other world. Like Jacob Collier, Charlie Puth, JD and Domi, like Thundercat, they're all on like this like I don't know, this is like third eye, like next level mentality stuff that like, comes with time, but it's just like they're like how their brains are like configured is just so like interesting to me that they can just like, think of these things this way in this shape. Like, I don't know, so cool to me.
Right. Sorry, we got dogs in the background, but
yeah, me too, brother.
But just to close out, because you're a part of this series, we're kind of starting on the podcast. It's kind of like we're interviewing independent artists who are kind of on the come up, and it's not all sunshine and rainbows what you might see in the picture. Do you have any advice for anybody who might be our age, maybe even older or younger, but like they're in this phase of they don't really know where they're at right now, or they finished college, but they'd really like to pursue art? Do you have any advice going on right there?
Dude, I would say just follow your heart, follow your passion, and don't let anybody tell you what you can and cannot do. And everything happens for a reason.
Well, that's excellent words to live. I mean, that's words that I try to live by every day, and obviously it helps us out a lot with just trying to do the podcast. And we have to remind ourselves, like who else is really doing this right now? It's, you just got to start at some point and just believe in yourself, but
just do it. Yep.
Yeah. But
I also have one quote that I always follow. It's enthusiasm is common, endurance is rare.
That's a good one.
We'll definitely put that in our comments as well, just TLDR for if they want to finish this whole thing. But Benji, it's been great having you on the show, brother. We haven't seen you so long. We'll have to definitely catch up soon. We'll definitely have to come catch you at a show.
Oh yeah.
Again, thank you so much for your time and for sharing a lot of your wisdom and your story. And we'll have to catch you on the show again soon sometime.
It's great catching up.
Absolutely, boys. Great talking to y'all. Y'all look great. The setup is amazing. I'm very happy with this. I saw y'all's Instagram, super legit. I'm so happy with what y'all doing. Like, so tight.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, man.
All right. We'll see you later.
We'll see you later, man.
All right, boys. Peace.